Welcome to GCE O Levels Chemistry series. Today we are going to talk about the atmosphere and environment. This is the most important and most interesting topic. The volcanic eruption produces a large amount of volcanic ashes into the atmosphere, and that ash reduces visibility. As a result, the air spaces or the aircrafts, they would be suspended for many days until that ash disappears. The eruption also releases sulfur dioxide and other volcanic gases, which are pollutants. The sulfur dioxide released may react with oxygen and water to form acid rain. Exhaust emissions from motor vehicles also contain sulfur dioxide and other gases, which are highly hazardous to health. This can be particularly severe in large cities where there is a lot of traffic, and clean air is vital to good health. So, what can we do to reduce this air pollutant? So, let's try to figure out the answer of this question in this unit. Earth has different spheres. There are 4 spheres mainly: biosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, lithosphere. Bio means life. So the segment of Earth which is comprised of living organisms such as plants and animals is called as biosphere. Atmosphere is the segment of Earth which contains a lot of gases. Hydrosphere. Hydro means water, so the part of Earth which is comprises of a lot of different water deposits and water bodies is called as hydrosphere. Litho means soil, so the dry land or the dry area of Earth is called as lithosphere. So what is atmosphere? The Earth is surrounded by a layer of air or gases is called as atmosphere. The atmosphere acts as a blanket to protect the Earth from the excessive radiations from the sun and maintain the Earth's temperature. Air is an important natural resource. Not only do we use oxygen in the air to breathe, but we also extract other gases from the air to use as a raw material in our industries. So what does air consist of? It's a very important question to understand it. Air is a mixture of several gases. It contains elements, compounds that are needed by all the living organisms to have their life. As air is a mixture, its composition varies from time to time and from place to place. So look at the different gases along with their composition by volume. So nitrogen, 78% of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. If we talk about oxygen, 21% of oxygen is present in the atmosphere. Carbon dioxide 0.03, trace gases 1 or about 0.97. Trace elements or trace gases are there. Mostly argon is present in them. So the main gas in the air is nitrogen. Along with nitrogen there is oxygen. The rest are noble gases, mostly argon, krypton, xenon, which are also available in the atmosphere. So the amount of water vapors in the air can vary widely around the Earth, from almost 0% into the deserts to about 5% into the tropical forests. So that is variable. How constituents of gases can be separated out? There are different procedures by which we can separate out the constituents of the gases. So separating air into its constituent gases is a very important chemical process, especially for obtaining nitrogen and oxygen from the atmosphere. These two gases are widely used in the industries. To separate the gases in air, and air is first cooled and compressed into the liquid, and then that liquid, this is, let's suppose, air, it will be cooled and compressed into the liquid. Let's suppose this is the compressed liquid. So after cooling and compression, this air is converted into liquid, and then this liquid air is then separated out into different constituents, and we are going to separate this out with the help of fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is basically a procedure by which each of the component is separated out on the basis of its boiling point. If we talk about nitrogen, so it will be separated out at minus 196 degrees centigrade, because its boiling point is minus 96 degrees centigrade. If we talk about separation of argon, so its boiling point is minus 186 degrees centigrade. So it will be separated out at minus 186 degrees centigrade. Whereas oxygen will be separated out at minus 183 degrees centigrade. So the first fraction which will be obtained after the fractional distillation is oxygen. After oxygen, we will be getting argon, and after argon, we will be obtaining nitrogen. This is how different segments, different fractions of gases or air are separated out. Nitrogen is used for making different fertilizers. It is used for production of ammonia in Haber's process, etc., etc. Now, what are air pollutants? If we talk about air pollutants, so there are so many air pollutants in the atmosphere. Actually, air pollution is the condition in which air contains a high concentration of chemicals that may harm living organisms and also damage the non-living things. So clean air is essential for life. It's very important to maintain life. Otherwise, the unclean air will be highly toxic and highly hazardous for the living organisms as well as the non-living organisms. Unfortunately, much of the gas or air which we breath is available is not clean. It contains chemicals that may be harmful to us. So the pollutants, air pollutants which are present are carbon monoxide, we have sulfur dioxide, we have oxides of nitrogen. In oxides of nitrogen, we have nitrogen monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, etc. Unburnt hydrocarbons such as methane, etc. And then we have methane and ozone. Ozone is an allotropic form of oxygen. If we talk about sulfur dioxide, so fossil fuels such as coal, crude oil, which is petroleum, and natural gases contain a high deposition of sulfur. When they are burnt in the motor vehicles, power stations and factories, sulfur is converted into sulfur dioxide. So the main source of sulfur dioxide is the factories and the power stations and motor vehicles. These are the major sources of their evaporation. So sulfur in the solid state will react with oxygen in the gaseous state. As a result, sulfur dioxide gas will be produced. So sulfur dioxide is also produced in a large quantities during volcanic eruptions. So sulfur dioxide has different sources as we have seen it, and it is highly dangerous for us, for the living organisms as well as for the non-living organisms. The second pollutant which is present in the atmosphere is carbon monoxide. Carbon monoxide is a colorless and odorless gas. It is the point source of carbon monoxide production is incomplete combustion. What is combustion? Combustion is basically the burning procedure. It is burning of anything in the presence of oxygen in order to produce carbon dioxide and water vapors. But whenever there is incomplete combustion, so as a result of it, carbon monoxide will be produced, which is highly toxic, which is much toxic than carbon dioxide. So much of carbon monoxide in the air comes from the incomplete combustion of petrol in the car engines. So after that incomplete combustion, the main and the major source is the petrol which is combusted or which is burned in the car engines incompletely. So this is how we are going to get carbon monoxide. Next is, this is its open structure. Next is oxides of nitrogens. In a car engine or chemical factory where temperatures are very high, nitrogen combines with oxygen in the air to form nitrogen monoxide, which is also called as nitric oxide. The second name of nitrogen monoxide is nitric oxide, which is a highly toxic pollutant. Nitrogen combines with oxygen, both of them are in the gaseous state, will produce nitric oxide or nitrogen monoxide. Nitrogen monoxide then reacts with other oxygens in order to get a brown color gas which is called as nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide is a colored gas. So this nitrogen monoxide which is produced over here will react with oxygen. Again, oxygen is in the gaseous state and nitrogen or nitric oxide is also in the gaseous state. They will be producing nitrogen dioxide, which will be gas, but it will be a brown color gas. During thunderstorms, heat energy released by lightning causes nitrogen and oxygen in the air to react to form oxides like nitrogen monoxides and nitrogen dioxides, which are hazardous for all of us. Next pollutant is unburned hydrocarbons. The point source of unburnt hydrocarbons are the car exhausts and the chemical plants. Methane is a colorless and odorless gas. We all know that it's domestically used as a fuel. So it is produced due to the plant and animal matter decay. Sheep and cows give off also a large amount of methane due to the digestion of their food. And methane is also produced from the decay of rubbish in the landfills. Ozone is another form of pollutant, and it is formed when nitrogen dioxide in the air reacts with unburnt hydrocarbons in the presence of sunlight. So that's why there is production of this allotrope of oxygen, which is ozone. Now the air pollutants and their effects. So let's have a look at the effects, ill effects or hazardous effects of these air pollutants on human beings and on the non-living things. If we talk about the first pollutant, which is carbon monoxide, so it reacts with hemoglobin in the blood to form carboxyhemoglobin, which reduces the ability to transport oxygen to the rest of the body. So it's very, very harmful for us. It also causes a lot of headache, fatigue, breathing difficulties, and even it causes death. If we talk about the second pollutant, which is sulfur dioxide, so sulfur dioxide irritates the eyes and lungs and causes breathing difficulties. It is having a high level inflammation of lungs, which is called as bronchitis, and it also reacts with water in the atmosphere to produce acid rain, which corrodes buildings and harms aquatic life and plants and etc. If we talk about the oxides of nitrogen, so oxides of nitrogen, which are nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen monoxide, they are also having the same ill effects or bad impacts on human beings and animals as sulfur dioxide has. They can also irritate eyes, they can cause a lot of breathing difficulties, they lead towards inflammation of lungs, and they cause acid rain as well. Unburnt hydrocarbon. If we talk about unburnt hydrocarbons, so they are carcinogenic, and we know that carcinogenic are all those substances which are cancer causing. They also react with nitrogen to produce ozone, which is an allotrope and which is working as a toxic substance in the atmosphere. If we talk about methane, so methane is a greenhouse gas and it causes global warming. Ozone is a toxin as well. It forms photochemical smoke, and that smoke irritates eyes and lungs, and it causes a lot of breathing difficulties such as asthma, and it also damages crops. So these toxic substances or these pollutants are highly hazardous for all of us. Now, due to oxides of nitrogen and oxides of sulfur, acid rain is produced. How acid rain is formed? Acid rain is formed when acidic air pollutants such as sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide react with water vapors which are present in the atmosphere. So let's see how they are going to react. Sulfur dioxide in the gaseous state will react with water vapors which are present in the atmosphere, and they will produce sulfurous acid. This sulfurous acid is in aqueous state. So this sulfurous acid will further get oxidized by reacting itself into any oxygen molecule. So what will happen? Slowly it will be oxidized by the reaction with oxygen, and as a result we will get sulfuric acid, and that sulfuric acid fall down in the form of acid rain. Next is oxides of nitrogen. They also cause acid rain. In the presence of oxygen and water, nitrogen dioxide is converted into nitric acid. So what will happen? Nitrogen dioxide will react in the gaseous state with water molecules, and after that those water vapors will react and they get oxidized, and as a result nitric acid is produced. So this is how the acid rain is caused due to the formation of sulfuric acid and nitric acid. Next is the pH value of unpolluted rainwater is usually slightly below than 7. You have to keep this thing in your mind. This is because carbon dioxide in the air dissolves in the rain water to form carbonic acid, which is a very weak acid, but it also causes acid rain. So carbon monoxide, after oxidizing, will make carbon dioxide, and that carbon dioxide gas will react with water vapors which are present into the atmosphere, and they will be making carbonates. So carbonic acid will be produced. So this acid rain has a pH value of 4 or less, but it is also a pollutant. But if we compare the strength of this pollutant, so it is less harmful than the other acids which are causing acid rain, but it's also harmful. Effects of acid rain on buildings, plants, and aquatic life. So what are the effects of acid rain on buildings? Sulfuric acid and nitric acid, which are produced due to the reaction of sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide with the water vapors in the atmosphere, they will cause acid rain. So acid rain reacts with the metals and carbonates like marble and limestone. When this happens, so the metal bridges and stone buildings are damaged because they get dissolved by the reaction of acid rain with the carbonates and the metals of all those marble and limestones of buildings. If we talk about the effect of acid rain on the plant, so acid rain leaches nutrients from the soil and causes plants to wither and die. Acid rain may also react with aluminum hydroxide in the soil to produce aluminum ion, and which are highly toxic for the growth of the plant, and it also damages plant. If we talk about the effect of aquatic life, so acid rain reduces the pH value of the natural water bodies like lakes and streams, and it will change its pH from it will just lower down it, and it becomes below 4, though already it is 6.5 to 8.5, which is good for the aquatic life, but it will drops it out till 4, so which is too acidic for the fish and the aquatic life to survive. So that's why all the aquatic animals which are present in the aqueous medium will get die, or it is highly toxic for them. So how can, the question comes that how can we reduce the air pollution? There are certain methods by which we can reduce the air pollution. Reducing the effect of acid rain will also be helpful to reduce the air pollution. So the major contributor of acid rains are sulfur dioxide and the oxides of nitrogen. So what is very important, we have to reduce the quantity of the pollutants in the air in order to make our atmosphere very clean. We will have to desulfurize the gases, or means we have to remove the sulfur dioxide or the emission of sulfur oxides by different methods. So there are latest two methods, which are catalytic converters and usage of catalytic converters and flue gas desulfurization. We will be doing it in detail in the coming video, so you have to just wait for that video, and if you will be having any confusion, you may ask me the question, so I will be explaining it for sure. Thank you so very much for watching.